process of catching large flounder with long lines is a traditional but effective method that requires patience, skill and understanding of the biological characteristics of this fish species. Before going to sea, fishermen carefully prepare equipment such as fishing boats, long lines, strong hooks and fresh bait, usually herring or squid, baits that are highly attractive to flounder. After reaching the deep sea, where flounder often live on the seabed at depths of 200 to 1,000 meters, fishermen drop long lines into the water. On each main line are attached hundreds of small hooks. Each hook is a fixed distance apart and has bait attached. The fishing line is held at the desired depth by carefully placed buoys and ballast. After a few hours to half a day of waiting, fishermen begin to retrieve the fishing line by hand or machine, checking each hook to remove the fish. If they encounter a large flounder, which can weigh up to hundreds of kilograms, fishermen must use support tools and many people to coordinate to bring the fish safely onto the boat. The entire fishing process requires precision in locating the fishing spot, skills in handling situations when the fish is hooked, and especially perseverance when having to work for many hours in the open sea. This is a difficult job but also brings high economic value, because large flounder have great commercial value and are popular in many international markets. After the flounder is pulled onto the boat, fishermen carry out preliminary processing steps on the spot to ensure the quality of the fish meat. Qualified fish, usually live or recently dead fish, with shiny skin, no scratches, will be cleaned of blood, have their organs removed and stored in ice boxes or specialized refrigeration systems on board. Meanwhile, hooks that have lost bait or are damaged are also checked and replaced to prepare for the next catch. For long trips, fishermen must regularly monitor the fish preservation system to avoid spoilage due to weather or technical problems. In addition, during the fishing process, they must also comply with regulations on protecting aquatic resources, such as not catching flounder under the prescribed size, releasing small fish or fish that are not of the target species, and recording the yield to report to the authorities. When the ship docks, the flounder is immediately transferred to traders or brought to seafood processing plants to continue the steps of filleting, packaging and distribution to the market. Thanks to the longline fishing technique, the flounder retains its freshness and is less susceptible to physical damage, because it is not hit hard like in trawl fishing methods. Therefore, flounder caught in this way has a high value and is popular in high-end restaurants. Especially in countries such as Japan, Korea and the United States. It can be said that longline fishing for large halibut is not only a livelihood for many coastal fishermen but also an important part of the sustainable seafood supply chain, closely linked to indigenous knowledge and traditional skills passed down through generations, not simply an economic activity. The process of catching large flounder with long lines also deeply reflects the relationship between humans and the sea. Each trip to sea is a time when fishermen face the harsh challenges of nature, from big waves, strong winds to fog, sudden storms, requiring courage, solidarity and extensive experience. In particular, in the present era, the application of modern technology to longline flounder fishing is becoming more and more popular. Modern fishing vessels are equipped with GPS positioning systems, fish finding radars and seabed depth gauges to help fishermen accurately determine where flounder schools often gather, thereby increasing fishing efficiency and saving fuel. In addition, the use of automatic line retrieval devices, underwater surveillance cameras and temperature and salinity monitoring sensors also contribute to improving work efficiency and reducing manual labor. However, no matter how modern it is, the human element, with skillful hands, a keen sense of the sea and a passion for the profession, is still at the heart of the entire process. Fishermen are not only workers but also preservers of traditional marine knowledge, contributing to the protection of marine resources through selective, environmentally friendly fishing methods. Thanks to that, longline fishing for large flounder not only brings a stable source of income to the fishing community but also contributes to the development of a sustainable fisheries industry and the conservation of marine ecosystems. One of the most valuable assets of mankind. In addition to economic and ecological benefits, longline fishing for large flounder is also closely linked to the culture and spiritual life of many coastal communities. In some old fishing villages, each flounder fishing season often begins with traditional rituals such as worshipping the sea, praying for peace or praying for fish festivals to express gratitude to the sea and hope for a favorable fishing season with full holds of fish and shrimp. Stories and experiences of flounder fishing are passed down from generation to generation, creating a priceless treasure trove of folk knowledge. On boats drifting in the open sea, the neighborhood ties between fishermen become closer than ever, because they understand that the safety and success of each trip depend not only on their skills but also on the spirit of solidarity and mutual support. However, this profession is also facing many challenges, such as climate change causing a decline in flounder resources, marine pollution, competitive pressure from industrial fishing and changes in fisheries management policies to maintain and develop the longline flounder fishing industry. Many localities have implemented programs to support fishermen such as training in new techniques, providing preferential capital, building fishing models combined with experiential tourism or closed production consumption chains. Preserving and developing this industry is not only about maintaining an effective fishing method, but also protecting the cultural identity and long-term livelihoods of tens of thousands of people living on the sea. Therefore, in the modern context, the harmonious combination of tradition and innovation will be the key for the longline flounder fishing industry to continue to reach the sea. Contributing to enriching the country and maintaining the love of the sea in each generation of fishermen. The future of the longline fishery for large halibut depends largely on public awareness and government policies for sustainable development. Strengthening marine scientific research, monitoring changes in halibut populations, and implementing effective resource management measures such as seasonal no-take zones, annual catch quotas, or licensing for specific sea areas are important solutions to ensure that exploitation does not exceed the carrying capacity of nature. At the same time, raising awareness among fishermen about protecting the marine environment and complying with legal regulations also plays a key role. Many initiatives are currently being implemented, such as marking and releasing juveniles to restore populations, collecting plastic waste on each fishing trip, or using non-target marine life-friendly hooks to limit negative impacts on the ecosystem. In addition, branding halibut caught with long lines, such as eco-labels, geographical indications or MSC, Marine Stewardship Council, certification, is also a way to increase product value, increase income for fishermen and expand export markets. Some localities also incorporate community education models, taking students to the field to learn about traditional fishing processes, thereby arousing love for the sea and islands and awareness of preserving natural resources. In the context of the world increasingly promoting clean, safe and transparent products, the longline flounder fishing industry not only has the potential to develop but also has the opportunity to become a symbol of the connection between people and the ocean, a place that contains not only material values but also the soul of peaceful, resilient and aspirational fishing villages. In the long term, if invested in the right direction and organized properly, the longline flounder fishing industry can completely become an exemplary model for sustainable marine economic development. Coastal fishing villages are not only the place where fishermen live but can also be planned into conservation areas combined with livelihoods, where tourists can participate in practical experiences with fishermen, learn how to cast a line, observe flounder offshore, or even enjoy seafood right on the fishing boat. This form of community tourism not only brings in new income but also helps spread the value of marine culture, enhancing the position of fishermen in society. At the same time, if they know how to take advantage of the off-season, fishermen can participate in advanced technical training courses, learn additional skills, or develop integrated aquaculture models to stabilize their income year-round. Local authorities and social organizations also need to accompany fishermen by supporting preferential loans, providing fishing insurance, and building modern fishing logistics stations, helping to preserve, transport and consume products more effectively. In the flow of the green economy and globalization, longline fishing for large flounder, if properly preserved and innovated, will not only be a living profession for fishermen, but also an important part of the national marine development strategy, where economy, culture and environment blend together, creating a new look for Vietnam's fisheries industry in the 21st century. Finally, for the longline fishing of large halibut to truly develop sustainably and in depth, there needs to be close coordination between four parties: the state, farmers, fishermen, scientists and businesses. The state plays a role in guiding and creating a favorable legal corridor. Issuing policies to protect aquatic resources, supporting infrastructure and encouraging sustainable development. Scientists contribute by studying the marine ecosystem, migration and reproduction behavior of halibut, thereby helping fishermen improve techniques, determine the time and place of fishing more effectively. Businesses participate in the value chain by investing in preservation technology, deep processing, building high-quality halibut brands and expanding domestic and foreign consumption markets. Fishermen, as those who directly work at sea, are both the custodians of traditional knowledge and the beneficiaries and implementers of improvements from stakeholders. When all four elements are aligned towards a common goal, longline halibut fishing will no longer be simply a method of seafood exploitation, but will become an industry associated with green development,